Here's what happened round 17 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Bulgaria at Sevlievo. MX2 Race 1, Jorge Prado crossed the Fox Holeshot line for the 22nd time this year. Just behind him, the two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas of Covington and Olsen, but quickly into second was Paul's Jonass, who started the weekend 28 points behind his teammate. Hunter Lawrence also made a good start for 114 Motorsports Honda, but then he lost positions with that little tap on Covington. He had to fight from the 8th place. He made a move on Welton, not for the first time during the race, but eventually he came home in 5th place. Ben Watson fell from 7th. Valandrin hit him as well. He went down and took out Rubini and Maxime Renault as well. Valandrin would not finish the race. Lap 4 though, Jonass found his way past his Red Bull KTM teammate Prado to take over the lead, whilst the two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas were at it as well. Olsen made a move for 3rd on his teammate Covington. Watson on the charge, eventually found his way past the F&H Kawasaki of Marshall Welton to finish in 6th. A win though for Jonass. MXGP Race 1, and from the inside it was Tim Gajser for his and Honda's first Fox Holeshot of the season. Herlings held a nice tight line, and before they got to turn 2, the Bullet was in the lead. Cairoli was in 3rd, but quickly lost positions on the opening lap to Desalle and Fevre. And Anstey, by the time we got to the top of the hill in the middle of the circuit, Anstey was down. Cairoli was into the back of him when he was outside the top 10. Seawer was 7th, and he fell down to 15th from the Wilvo Yamaha. Cairoli made this move on his teammate Glenn Coldenhoff to get himself into 8th. That's where he would stay as Seawer continued his charge. The move on Lupino and Ivo Monticelli eventually got him into 10th place. Gajser circulated alone in 2nd. Desalle likewise in 3rd after seeing off the challenge from the Monster Energy Yamaha of Romain Fevre, who came home 4th ahead of Paul Land, who eventually dropped to 5th because of the hard charge from Romain Fevre. Cairoli could only manage that 8th place though, but it was a win for the 26th time for Jeffrey Herlings in race 1. MX2 Race 2. And once again, it was that man, number 61 on the Red Bull KTM, Jorge Prado, Fox Holeshot number 23. The two Husqvarnas of Covington and Olsen went down. I think they took with them Anthony Rodriguez as well. Jonass was in 2nd on a freshly watered track. Hunter Lawrence was 3rd as Covington picked himself up about a half a lap down. Jonass made one mistake, but then another one much bigger. At the top of the hill at the start of lap 2, he lost the front on a slick patch of ice. He went crashing down the deck into 4th, picked himself up and resumed the race. Olsen was on it. He eventually came home in 5th place. Jacoby started making ground, got up to 11th, and then he would fall shortly afterwards at the top of one of the hills. Covington capitalized on that mistake. Eventually caught past the 114 Honda Motorsports rider Bas Vaesen to move into 11th. Vaesen would finish 12th. Decisive move in the closing stages of the race though for Jonass. That pass for 3rd on Ben Watson on the Khmer Yamaha. A lucky escape for Lawrence as he continued to close in on Jorge Prado for the win, but it was Prado who held on for his 13th race win of the year from Lawrence, Jonass, Watson and Olsen. And the overall belonged to Jorge Prado, his 10th win of the season, his 13th career win. Jonass 2nd, Lawrence 3rd, the same podium as Switzerland. Prado advances 2 points clearer of Paul's Jonass. It was 28 at the start of the weekend, it's now 30. Thomas Olsen stays 3rd as we head to round 18 in Turkey in a week's time.
Yeah, Hunter was pushing a lot inside that second moto. I made a gap, but he kind of came in and made a small mistake. So he closed the gap. Last laps, we really fought for the win. So really happy with the race and looking forward for the next weekend in Turkey.
MXGP Race 2. This time it was Tony Cairoli from about 7 gates over who grabbed his 18th Fox Holeshot of the season. Once again, Herlings though smart through turn 1. Van Hoorbeek and Simpson fell on the inside of turn 1. Desalle was 3rd, Gajser 4th, Coldenhoff and Fevre running out the top 6, but halfway around the first lap, Cairoli ran wide at the bottom of one of the hills. He got on the gas, the back end lit up, so too did Herlings, but he was able to gain traction and he made a decisive move to take over the lead. Gajser also tried to side his way up the inside of Cairoli, but he managed to fend off the 243 as Febvre fell from 4th place. He picked himself up in 8th and mounted a challenge back through the field. His move on Gauthier Paulin saw him just hovering outside the top 5. He then went after Glenn Coldenhoff and Max Anstey. Max Anstey was first. That move put the Frenchman into 6th, and about 3 laps later, his move on Coldenhoff got him into 5th. That's where the Monster Energy Yamaha would stay, but it was still a great ride, though, for the Red Bull KTM of Coldenhoff, who later came under attack from Max Anstey's Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. The Brit went into 6th. Coldenhoff came home in 7th, but win number 27 for Jeffrey Herlings ahead of his teammate and Gajser Desalle Febvre. The overall belonged to Herlings, his 12th double moto win of the season, his 14th of the year, career victory number 81. Gajser and Desalle joined him on the podium for the 6th and 7th times respectively, and Herlings now moves from, well, he moves clear to 73 points over Tony Cairoli as we head to round 18. Desalle 3rd, Gajser moves up 1 place to 4th.
We need to see in which situation we are, you know, like now it's time to maybe slowly start thinking about the championship. There's 150 points for grabs and I got 73 up front, so, you know, I can just mess it up myself, I think so. So, you know, Tony is still very strong, and you see in the second moto, he's badass. He's a very tough competitor, and he's still very strong, so need to always watch out with him because he's still very fast and strong, but for now we did a good job.